Yeah, for sure. For sure. There's no such thing as fair.
I love this one because, I mean, I definitely feel that is truth. Like raising let's say a mixed race daughter for me, there's going to be dumb shit and dumb people in her life that are going to hate her because just because, frankly, no other reason other than just because. And I think that no matter what is going on in her life, she needs to go out and be the best person that she can be, because it doesn't do her any good to approach things as if like she can change them, because you can't change the external things, only how you react to them. So you go out to try to be the best you can. And if things get in your way, well, things got in your way. It happens to the best of us.
I definitely think it's true for sure. But I also think that the world or society would be a better place if people would look at the world through this lens as well, that life isn't fair. I mean, look, there's some people that have the worst hands and there's some people that have the best hands, and that still does not dictate the outcome. You know, whether we're talking about genetics, whether we're talking about environment, whether we're talking about location, whatever, it does not dictate. You still have a ton of control over, what happens to you in your surroundings. So, all right, let's go to this next one. Oh, the right woman will propel you to greatness.
I think without question, but it's a very specific way of saying something that I think is more broad. The bottom line is, if you don't surround yourself with people that'll push you and make you better, then they're just going to hold you back. That can be your woman, that can be your, friends. The one thing I'll say about a woman is that, if you have a woman that holds you back, it's the person you're probably spending the most time around. And so that's going to be a problem for you. I look at a relationship as a team effort. When I talk to my wife about things, it's very much, what are we doing to better the franchise, essentially?
Hell yeah.
How can I hold you up? How can you help me do the things I need to do better, so that every task is kind of taken on between the two of us in some form or fashion. It's before we had Irma and we talked homeschooling, we had to decide, well, how is that going to do work-wise? What are we going to do? We set up a life that allowed us to do the homeschooling thing and make sure we're both there for our kids, that we didn't need daycare or anything like that.
I'm in agreement, of course. When I met my wife and we had this commonality of bettering ourselves, it was almost like a team of self-help for a little while. And it's just, I think that, the female is the yin to the yang, or the yang to the yin, or whatever. It's the ultimate, it's the ultimate opportunity to get better, because you're going to get really close with this woman. I'm assuming this is a marriage or at least a close relationship, but you're going to get very close to this woman, and women love to, I don't want to say snoop, but they like to get in there and understand you and see who you're talking to, how you talk to other people. They want to know everything about you. And they're all, a lot of times they're unashamed to say, yeah, that's stupid, you should stop doing that. Or, hey, you're not representing the family. You're not doing what's best for the franchise. So, and you know what? As a 23, 25-year-old, I don't think I had the emotional maturity to take on that, beating to my ego that some women will give you. But now I think I value it very much. I think
we were talking about earlier, it's sharpening the sword. It's someone to make you push yourself.
All right. Pornography is evil.
I waffle around on this one. There are some people who literally it controls their lives, I think. Some people, I don't understand how it gets to be that bad. I think that I want to believe that there's a healthy way for this for it to happen in the world, but if you look at the industry, there are a lot of problems with the industry, not the best taking care of those people in it. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with being able to show off your body. The bottom line is, if you're an attractive person, I think that there should be a place for you to take advantage of your God-given gifts and make money off of them, the same as smart people and fast people and any other kind of person. But dealing with where we are in the real world, a lot of times that industry does happen to be with basically girls that are kind of taking advantage of, fed drugs, and maybe making poor decisions because of it. So there's it probably is evil in the way that it manifests in our world now, but I don't believe it has to be that way. I just think it has turned out that way and was perhaps reinforced by some people that way. So it's a mixed message on my part.
Yeah. It's a tough one. I don't think in good and evil, or I try not to. I don't think absolute evil actually exists personally. I just think, that, I think pornography is probably bad. I mean, I'm sure there's some use cases that it works and all of that, but it is addictive. That's pretty proven. It's a one side. The consumer's pretty one sided. I know that it's more than 95% male consume pornography, which is, there's something to be said about that. That third line or second line there, this destroys your natural masculine drive to create, reproduce, and conquer.
That's what I have the most problem with, frankly. I don't think it does shit to it. I think that is entirely in your head. I think if you believe that, then yeah, it probably does. If you don't, then it doesn't do shit to you.
Well, probably to the addict, the person that's doing it 2, 3, 4 times a day, hours a day, or whatever the case is, I bet there is some serious, brain chemistry malfunction there. That first line says, it overstimulates your dopamine reward pathway, which this guy's not a scientist for sure, but he's probably right. Your dopamine, your neurochemistry is probably being jacked up from not getting that same type of stimulation with real sex. Yeah, jacked up from jacking off is right. All right, we're moving on. Your ancestors knew more than you think.
Oh, without question. And yes, you can think about this in the family sense, or you can think about it in the cultural sense. Let's be honest. If you really look at the lessons and things that most of the world religions teach, all that stuff is the gathered wisdom that's been carried on for centuries. Most of it's pretty good ideas. That's why people like Jordan Peterson are so popular today, because they're teaching us the ancestral wisdom of our people that has kind of been kicked to the wayside by modernity. Whether or not you believe the religion, the religious part of it, and the belief and faith and all this stuff is important, the messages that are inherent in those books absolutely are good. So whether or not you like the religion, and whether or not you think that, this is just stupid stuff from old people, that stuff has survived because it works.
Yeah, trying to think pragmatically and practically here. The results of living the way the religions teach you are good results. At the end of the day, that's why I have a belief problem. I don't tend to believe all of the miracles, if you will, or whatever you want to say, but I think practicing Christian values is probably a great thing. Especially for society, especially for the masses. But as far as your ancestors, how old is an ancestor? Are we talking, 100 years ago, 200 years ago?
I guess one of the things I'll say is I think of myself as an Italian American, for whatever that means. So there's a lot of family stuff, I guess, that comes with that. Like we can pick on family, but the bottom line is like you don't fuck with my brothers. You want to be in a whole world of hurt, start shit with one of us in front of the other two. In fact, we could be beating the shit out of each other and start shit with one of us in front of the other two. We will stop kicking our own asses, beat the hell out of you, go right back to it. Like it's just